Wrestling is one of the fastest growing interscholastic and intercollegiate sports. Because of its increasing popularity, the competition is constantly improving. Officiating plays a very important part in maintaining competition which is exciting, fair, and safe. Recognizing the importance of this phase of athletics, the National Federation presents this film so that all competitors will be wrestling by the rules. Cliff Fagan directed the planning and was assisted by Tom Frederick. The technical staff consisted of the 4 high school members of the Wrestling Rules Committee. Demonstrations were by wrestlers from Stoughton, Wisconsin High School, coached by Vern Pieper. Marvin Hess is the Rules Committee chairman. The 10-foot circle at the center of the wrestling area contains markings which aid the official. The red and green areas are used when starting or resuming the match in the neutral position. The 2 1-inch lines serve as guides for the defensive wrestler in the starting position. The referee is responsible for examining the mat and markings prior to the meet. He must also make certain his assistants, the timer and scorers, understand their duties and responsibilities. At this time, he may review signals and procedures. Prior to a dual meet, the referee calls the team captains to the center of the mat. Following introductions, he will decide by the toss of a coin which team has the choice of positions at the start of the second period in each weight class. This choice will be recorded by the scorer. The match starts with the wrestlers on their designated areas. The referee is opposite to and facing the scorer's bench. Wrestling begins on his signal, and he must continuously move to observe all action. When, from a neutral position, a contestant brings his opponent to the mat and gains control, he is awarded 2 points.
2 points, takedown.
This is true even though one wrestler may be outside the boundary.
2 points, takedown.
But when this wrestler lifts his opponent and steps out of bounds, the match is stopped.
Out of bounds, both up.
Control is the important factor in determining whether a takedown has been earned. This counter to the fireman's carry illustrates a situation in which neither wrestler has control. No points are awarded. When a wrestler brings his opponent to the mat and gains control, he has earned a takedown, even though his head is not entirely free.
2 points, takedown.
In the proper starting position, the defensive wrestler shall be on the mat with his hands ahead of the center 1-inch line, his knees behind the other 1-inch line. The knees spread no further apart than the width of his shoulders, and his lower legs parallel, with the toes turned neither in nor out excessively. The offensive wrestler shall be at his side with one or both knees on the mat and his head along the midline of his opponent's back. The supporting points must be to the outside of the near leg. When only one knee is down, the other may extend over the lower leg, provided there is no contact. The referee faces the bench while observing the starting position. When the wrestlers are stationary and the timer ready, he will signal the match to start. A reversal is awarded the defensive wrestler if he comes from underneath and gains control of his opponent.
2 points, reversal.
An escape occurs when the defensive man gains a neutral position while within the wrestling area.
1 point escape.
The referee must be in position to observe edge of the mat situations. Here, there is an escape.
1 point escape, both up.
But points are not awarded here since the wrestlers were out of bounds before control was lost.
No change, you're still down.
A reversal is awarded when the defensive man gains control of his opponent.
2 points, reversal.
Control is the determining factor, as here when a shoulder roll is used. When the defensive man grasps the lower leg, he has control.
2 points, reversal.
And may even gain a predicament or near fall. Points are awarded for a reversal even though one wrestler goes completely out of bounds.
2 points, reversal.
A predicament occurs when a wrestler has control of his opponent in a pinning situation, provided one shoulder is on the mat and the other at 45 degrees or less.
2 points, predicament.
Or when both shoulders were stopped within 4 inches of the mat. From the neutral position, additional points may be scored after there is control.
2 points, takedown.
With one shoulder touching and the other held within 1 inch for 1 full second, or both shoulders in contact with the mat for 1 second, a near fall is earned.
3 points, near fall.
Predicament points may also be earned following a reversal,
2 points, reversal.
as in this situation.
2 points, predicament.
A predicament may occur while the head and one shoulder are over the out-of-bounds area if other conditions are met. However, here the wrestlers are out of bounds.
They're out of bounds, no change. You're still down.
When the offensive wrestler maintains control of his opponent, he may score predicament points if the requirements are met.
2 points, predicament.
Conditions for a predicament may be met more than once during the time a wrestler is in a pinning situation, such as the false cradle. However, only 2 points are awarded, and these after the situation is ended.
2 points, predicament.
When any part of both shoulders are held in contact with the mat for 2 seconds, it is a fall and the match is ended. The referee is expected to anticipate situations which may result in a fall and must be in a position to observe carefully that the conditions are met.
Fall.
A wrestler may be pinned while in the offensive position. The referee must anticipate such an unusual situation.
Fall.
A stalemate occurs whenever the contestants are interlocked in other than a pinning situation, and neither can improve his position. For instance, in this situation, neither wrestler can improve his position. And after 15 seconds, the referee shall declare a stalemate.
Stalemate, back to the center, no change.
It is a stalemate when the offensive wrestler hooks his opponent's arm, which is blocked by his opponent grasping his own wrist. When it is apparent that neither wrestler can improve, a stalemate is declared.
Stalemate, back to the center, no change.
This common method of blocking a switch also results in a stalemate situation. If this procedure is followed continuously, the offensive wrestler may be guilty of stalling.
Stalemate, back to the center, no change.
Each contestant must wrestle aggressively regardless of his position. When the figure 4 body scissors is used to break an opponent down, it is then incumbent upon the offensive wrestler to press his advantage in attempting to pin his opponent. It is obvious here that the offensive man is using the figure 4 as a hold down.
Stalling on top, 1 point.
It is also stalling when, in a neutral position, a wrestler refuses to make contact.
1 point escape.
Here, the defensive man, after gaining an escape, refuses to wrestle. After having been warned, the wrestler in the red tights backs out of the circle to avoid contact and is penalized.
Stalling, 1 point.
The defensive wrestler is equally responsible for aggressive wrestling. Covering up or flattening out with no attempt to escape can only be interpreted as stalling.
Warning, stalling on the bottom.
The defensive wrestler is warned without stopping the match. And if he continues to stall for another 5 seconds,
1 point penalty.
he is penalized without stopping the match. Unnecessary roughness is penalized without warning. It includes striking or any intentional act endangering life or limb.
Unnecessary roughness.
Another example occurs when the offensive man is unnecessarily rough while controlling his opponent.
Unnecessary roughness. 1 point.
All body slams are illegal.
That's a slam. 1 point.
A contestant who lifts his opponent from the mat is responsible for his safe return. The same is true of a suplex.
Illegal. 1 point.
It is illegal to lock the hands in a double arm bar from the neutral position. This is true whether the wrestlers are on their feet or on the mat.
Illegal hold. 1 point.
The full Nelson is also an illegal hold. This is true whenever the offensive man has both his hands on his opponent's head and can exert pressure.
Illegal hold. 1 point.
The full Nelson is not to be confused with the three-quarter Nelson shown here.
Ball.
The hammerlock is illegal when the lower arm is forced to an angle of less than 90 degrees with the upper arm. The referee should break the hold before excessive pressure is exerted.
Illegal hold. 1 point.
The arm hook is a legal hold and is an effective way of turning an opponent in certain situations. It becomes potentially dangerous as the offensive man's hand moves toward the shoulders and pressure is exerted in a diagonal direction.
What's the chicken wing?
It is a chicken wing and an illegal hold when the pressure is exerted parallel to the long axis of the body, as here.
Illegal hold. 1 point.
The bending or twisting of any limb beyond the normal limits of its movement is illegal. This is a twisting knee lock.
Illegal hold. 1 point.
The double wrist lock is a potentially dangerous but legal hold.
2 points, reversal.
Here, the pressure was applied perpendicular to the long axis of the body and turning the opponent legally. However, in this case, because of the parallel cranking or lifting force, the hold is illegal.
Illegal hold. 1 point.
The split scissors or banana split, another potentially dangerous hold, may be used legally when pressure is applied toward the defensive wrestler's head. It is immediately illegal when the defensive man's legs are forced apart excessively. Here, a legal crossface becomes a chokehold.
It's potentially dangerous. No change.
Because the defensive wrestler caused the hold to be illegal, there is no penalty. If the defensive man stands while in a grapevine, it is potentially dangerous because of the danger of a fallback or a drill. In applying the guillotine, the hold becomes potentially dangerous when the arm is forced beyond its normal limits of movement, as is illustrated.
It's potentially dangerous.
The hold is broken and the match restarted with no penalty. The figure 4 scissors on the head is a legal hold and an effective way of pinning an opponent. However, when the straight scissors is applied to the head, it is an illegal hold and must be broken immediately and the offender penalized.
Illegal hold. 1 point.
A fall terminates any match. If there is no fall during the match, wrestling continues until the timer indicates the match is ended.
Go to your spots.
At the end of the match, the referee will direct the wrestlers to the red and green areas on the 10-foot circle, check with the scorer's table, then indicate the winner by raising his hand. The conduct of matches during tournaments varies somewhat from the procedure used in dual meets. In tournaments, the competitors are given leg bands for proper identification. These should be easily secured and provide ready recognition. When a tournament match ends in a tie, the match score is removed since only the points scored in the overtime will count. Following a 1-minute rest, the referee shall toss a disc to determine the starting positions for the overtime. A jury consisting of 2 judges and a referee shall closely observe the action during the overtime periods, and in the case of a tie, shall vote for the winner. Each judge shall be given an overtime card to aid him in determining which wrestler has the superior ability. Sincere attempts to secure takedowns, falls, reversals, and escapes are used in judging wrestlers' abilities. When an overtime ends in a tie, as it does here, the wrestlers will be sent to their respective areas on the 10-foot circle, and the referee and judges will record their decisions without consultation. The referee will then gather the cards from the judges, take them to the scorer's table, and determine the victor. They shall then indicate the winner in the usual manner. Officials make many decisions during the course of a match, whether it be in duel or tournament competition. These competitors are of equal weight, comparable ability, and have trained long and hard. Both deserve unbiased and objective officiating. The role of the referee is to make certain that each is given a fair opportunity within the rules to exhibit the best of his talents. This is Wrestling by the Rules.